Hello and greetings. I hope you're all doing well with Lumion's project-oriented training course. Well, I'm Javad Pakzad, and in this training course, we're gonna learn Lumion's lighting, rendering, material, and animation. Well, I open up Lumion's app, and we're gonna see this screen right here, and I can click on Create New Section, and then I can choose one of the environments, of course one of preset environments in this app, and I can go on with my project. And well, we must mention this point that we work with 12.02 auditor version of Lumion, and you must remember that in Lumion app, we insert other models from other apps uh, like Revit, SketchUp, Rhino, and Max, and other available apps for modeling. And after lighting and materialization and inserting other objects, we make renders and animation from these models. Well, in the Create New Project section, we have prepared presets, and we choose to work on that environment and then start our rendering project. Well, each of these environments has its own specific features. Like in one of these scenes, we can observe that we have desert. Or in other sections, we can observe that we have winter environments. There's a snow in there. Well, or in other environments, we have lands, we have mountains, lakes, and other things. Or in this environment, we have a very raw, white studio environment. And well, what we say here doesn't necessarily mean that we cannot change our environments into other things, or like in this specific environment, winter environment, we can change it into spring or fall environment. Every one of these environments can be changed into other things. Well, we go back for a second. In example section, there are numbers of sample files, and we probably start with one of these projects and we explain it, and then we go to create project section. And we go there and we choose one of the apps that I have mentioned before, and then we work on the lighting, the rendering, and the materialization, and the final exporting section. Well, in fact, in the next section, we will learn exporting process in other environments and other apps, like how to insert other things from Max to Lumion, to from Rhino to Lumion, and other things just like that. So in the example section, there is environments considered for it. There are building samples, and they have their own features and they have their own effects. Well, in benchmark section, I can observe my hardware powers, and I recommend you to close other apps, all of them. That would be so much better. In that case, you could click on rerun benchmark. You can see how your RAM, your CPU, your graphic card is supporting your app. Well, just like you see in this part, my own laptop here is pretty good for this app, and it is in the recommended level. And well, if you're using this NVIDIA graphic cards, make sure in NVIDIA control panel, you right click on the desktop and you choose NVIDIA control panel. And in manage 3D settings, right in this section, choose high performance NVIDIA processor. I mean, it has 3 different options. Put it on high performance and then click on apply. If your PC or your laptop has different options, For example, performance option, silence option, and turbo option. Put it on the best way possible, the strongest way possible for your laptop. Make sure you do that before you wanted to use Lumion's app. Well, so we can click on rerun benchmark here, and we could analyze it again, and we could analyze our system's statistics. And in load section, I could insert all of my previous projects, and in save as section, we can save our projects. Like I want to open my project in other laptops or show it to my friend, I save it so he could use my project in his own system or laptop. And we get back to example section, and I choose one of these samples. For example, this is a specific project. Well, I choose the project and I wait for the project to load up for me. And this whole process might take a few seconds of your time, like you can see. Well, as you can see, this whole project is open right now and I can see it. And we check this whole environment quickly and we learn them and we get back to the details. In the right section, I have some tools like build and photo, movie and save as project and paranormal, and our setting. See, if I choose any of these tools, there is gonna be a different window, and if I want to get back to the previous project which I was editing, I should choose build section. I mean, all what we do is done in this build section. Everything we do, like the lighting, materialization, putting different objects, changing the climate, is done here. And for exporting our screen, we choose photo section, and we're gonna talk about all of them, and we explain what kind of effects we can add to the screen and how can we have better renderings. And in order to make animation, we have to click on movie section so we could create our frames, like this whole movement of camera in different angles. And for saving and loading project, we click on this specific option. We want to get back to our working environment building, and in this way the environment is demonstrated to us. And we go to settings section in this section, and in image section we can have some different settings for resolution, for editor quality, and we can change different options, and what we change here is not relevant to our quality of our output. Maybe we want to lower our resolution in this environment, and well, it's gonna be effective for the speed, and your project is gonna be probably easier to work with. And you could change the resolution by F7 key. As you can see, it's getting a little blurred. And in this section there is different percentage for editor resolution. You can see them. Just wait a second. And in this section you can set the quality on different stars in that section. Well, we go back to build section. I click on F7. Now we have 100% resolution quality. So let's go to shortcut keys in this app. In this part we're gonna learn working in this space, and we're gonna learn about different shortcut keys. And beside this part, I'll share you a PDF file. Different shortcut keys are written in here that we're gonna talk about them, and I put them all together from Lumion's website, and the PDF is gonna be sent to you next to this file, so you could learn all of them so much easier and better without any effort. Well, the first shortcut key we must learn are the keys for different direction, forward, back, left, and right. How to change the direction of the camera. In order to move in different direction, it's just like a game. You could go forward with the key W, the S key for backward move, D to move right, and A to move left. So it's W, S, D, and A. You also can move with the right part of the keyboard, which has arrows on them, like you can see that. Just wait a second, you can see them. But I personally recommend you to use W, S, D, and A because they are near to other shortcut keys in our keyboard. And in order to change the place of our camera or the height of our camera, we can use Q and E keys. With the Q key, I can increase the height of my camera, and with the E key, I can decrease the height of my camera. With Q key, we go up, and with E, we go down. If you want to do these actions slower, you could just, for example, if you want to press D button, and maybe I'm inside of a house or inside an environment, and we want to move slower. Like we go to the left direction and we press the A button, but we see that it's too fast. You can slow the directions down by holding a space button, as you can see right now. You see that? Wait a second right now. You see we press D by itself, and we press D with a space. We press A alone, and A with a space. So if you wanted to make your movements slower, in every other direction, going down, up, and down, left, and right, we can hold the space. But if we want to move a lot faster, like we want to move backward faster than this, I can hold Shift button. With holding the Shift button with different direction keys, we can move a lot faster than that, just like you can see right now. And if even this speed is not enough for me, we can hold a space and shift together and then use the direction keys that we mentioned. As you can see them, you see our movements are so faster. So with holding a space and shift together, we can speed up our movement. And for zooming in and zooming out, we can use our mouse scroll. I can use this scroll to zoom in, and just like you can see, and you can use this scroll to zoom out. Just like you see that. And with holding the right click of our mouse, I can change the angle of our camera and our perspective. It's like the cameraman is standing and turning around. So holding the right click brings me turning around. And if you wanted to revolve around a specific object, just like this object right here, what I mean is that the object is still and we want to turn around that object. You can see that. What we do, we hold right click, and you can see the sign in middle of the screen. You can see that. We put that sign on our subject, and then we hold the key O, and then we spin around our subject with the right click of our mouse. So if you hold the right click by itself, it's like the cameraman is turning around. But if we hold the O button with the right click, we're gonna revolve around the sign in the middle of the screen, like you can see. As you can see, we are turning around that sign in the middle of the screen, like you can see that. And this happens by holding O and right click of our mouse. And the next point that we want to mention is the panning technique. we can do panning by holding the mouse scroll, just like you can see. And if I hold shift, this happens faster, and if I hold the space, that's going to be slower. And if I hold the space and shift together, the speed is going to be at its climax. Well, I put that here, and I do the panning just like this. So right now, we're going to talk about Control and H key. Control H gives me a horizontal view. You can see I look down with the camera, and when I press Control H together, there is going to be a horizontal view for our cameraman. And it's like our camera has a perfectly horizontal view. I hold shift and space together, and I press the Q button, and you can see that we go up and we revolve by using the right click on the mouse. And I want to teach you another way to change our moving directions. Just wait a second. Well, with using double right click, we can make this scene happen. What I mean is that with using double right click, we can teleport from the environment to another place. What I mean is that we can teleport by direction of our mouse and where it's directing. So our teleportation happens by double right click on the mouse. So we talked about all of them. Let's take a look at the left part of the screen. So we have 4 major tabs here. Our first tab is Content Library. Whatever we want to import to Lumion app, we're going to use it from Content Library. Whether it's other forms from other apps, like other apps in like Revit, and you want to import it in Lumion, you're going to use Content Library. Or whether it's other different objects like trees or chairs that you want to use in your environment. Like in nature section, I can use different trees or I can use different vegetations. There is just one point. In each of these different sections, there are specific options to do. Like in nature section, which I can use trees inside that, I'm gonna use place option to use a new tree. You can see the library and you can see the variety of options and the objects which we can use for our environment. And I can choose whatever it's inside the environment or rotate it. And there's a scale option and you can delete it. So you can see I can use different options for our different objects. So in Content Library section, I can import different objects from different apps into Lumion app. Lumion app doesn't have modeling option by itself. And we need a modeling app, another modeling app. We do the modeling in other apps and then we import our objects into Lumion app. Then we do the lighting, the materialization, and then we do the rendering part. And we're gonna talk about these options later. Just take your time because we're gonna move forward stage by stage slowly. Well, one of the good things in Content Library section, which is gonna be practical and we're gonna hear it a lot in different examples, and it is also good to cover that up, is to have an organized layout. Lumion app doesn't have limitations for importing. You can import one tree or you can import thousands of trees inside that environment. But also it is obvious that our project is going to be a little difficult to work with or for the app to process it. And it also depends on your system capacity Sometimes it's going to be a lot difficult to process it, but sometimes it's going to be okay and good. So it's better to put different objects inside of their own layout, inside of their own organized content. We have our layouts in top part of the screen. You see I have trees layout. I can turn it off and you can see all the trees in this environment are gone. And if I turn it on, all the trees are appeared at once. So what I can do is to put different objects into their own layouts and organize them. So it's going to be so much easier to use them in our projects. The next section is materials. When we import an object or a model into Lumion app by using material tool, we can give the object its colors, its textures, its different features by using material editor. When we click on the material section asks us which object do you want to change its materials, its texture. So what you do is you click on that object and you can use one of the presets in material section, or you can create another new material for the object. In the next section, in landscape section, we ascertain the texture of our land. Is there any mountains or is there any lakes? Like the grass, is it long or short? And things like that. And in weather section, you can choose day and night for environment, the direction of north and south, or the type of clouds in the sky for your environments. So far we had a very comprehensive discussion about the usage of Lumion app, and what I want from you and what is good for you to do is that don't watch the next video and choose an example, go to that environment and practice what we have taught you. Like you could use different shortcut keys and move in different directions. The best thing to do is just practicing. Go through what we have taught you and just put them all into practice. Alright, that's going to be more practical than watching the next video immediately.